Good morning and welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. We'll get to Kyle Shanahan's conference call in a minute, but first, some injury updates for you. Yetor Gross-Matos has a knee injury. He is week to week. His fellow defensive lineman, Leonard Floyd, also has a knee injury. He's doing a little better. He is day to day. One more from that game. D. Winters had an ankle injury. He needed an MRI. At the time of this recording, the results of that MRI are not known. And finally, the team will decide this week what to do with Talanoa Hufanga. They have to decide whether to put him on the PUP list by Wednesday's practice. And of course, if he goes on that list, he will miss the first 4 games of the season. In the good news department, it does look like Ricky Pearsall will return to practice this week. Now, to the conference call with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle, how do you go about figuring out how all the different roster pieces fit when you're doing cutdowns?
I mean, it's just connecting all the positions. I mean, there's, you have the unknowns with BA and Trent right now. And then we have a lot of good competition in a number of positions, whether to go light in certain places, heavier in some others. Definitely don't want to get any specifics, though, because that's what all 32 teams are doing right now, watching everyone's rosters, trying to listen to everything and figure out which guys they can get.
Peter Schrager restarted the Brandon Aiyuk to Washington rumblings. Matt Mayoko said it would take a 2, a 3, and more to get Brandon Aiyuk to Washington. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, Kyle didn't really want to answer that question. So let's try this. Kyle, specifically at defensive end, you just told us about the injuries. Who can step in from the edge if Floyd and Gross-Matos can't play?
I think you'll see when we decide on the 53. That sounds like a question the other 31 teams are trying to get you to ask me. Sorry, man, but it's too hard to talk about the specifics like that right now.
All right, fine. Don't want to answer that question. Let's try to get specific on one player, Kyle. What about Isaac Guerendo? Had the big kick return. What did you think of his performance against the Raiders?
I thought he did a real good job, especially since it was the first day he had shoulder pads on since the Senior Bowl. He got hurt our first day of practice. And then the 2 practices we had before the Raiders week, were unpadded practices. So for him to go that long without putting pads on, I really liked how he ran. He tried to break tackles, never eased up on contact, tried to run through it, hit the holes well, and had a real good first game.
Hey, there we go. An actual answer. Keep that going, Kyle. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Monday, winners and losers from the final preseason game. I'll have it up on the website, goldstandardniners.com. One thing to watch, rosters have to be cut down by Tuesday afternoon. So you're going to see a lot of people hit the wire. You may even see a bunch of trades as teams try to get resources for someone they didn't want on their roster anyway. Linebacker, corner, and receiver are all interesting spots to monitor for the 49ers. One thing you may have missed, unlike last year when the Niners couldn't wait to name Sam Darnold QB2, we don't know who's backing up Brock Purdy, I should say. Josh Dobbs, Brandon Allen. Kyle Shanahan said he hadn't talked to them yesterday during the conference call, so he wasn't going to share anything with all of us. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network wherever you get your audio pods. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Click the bell to get notified every single time we go live, which is every single weekday for you. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk later today.